Coverage continues right now with Ronnie Richter of the Bland Richter Law Firm. And Ronnie, you did not think that Alex Murdaugh was going to take the stand. He did. Just wondering what your reaction has been to 2 days of testimony. Did he help himself? Well,
he never should have taken the stand, number one. Did he help himself? If he captured 1 or 2 jurors, then yes, he helped himself. We have turned a very complex case into a single issue case, which is his credibility, and even to a finer point, his credibility on a single question. Where were you? Had you ever been to the kennels? And we know that he lied on that most important of issues. So he finds himself as the ultimate boy who cried wolf here, right? We know that he's a well-documented liar. But on this one issue, he needs the town to believe him. I'm telling you the truth this time. I was not at the kennels, right?
And what's most important there is Creighton Water says this is a really important issue. Of all the issues that you've had in your life, of all the misdeeds and everything else that's happened, this is the moment in your life when you find your wife and son murdered.
Yes.
Minutes later, you decide to lie. Creighton Water spent a lot of time developing that, allowing Alex Murdaugh to explain why did you lie and when did you decide to lie?
Yeah, well, think of all the points of light that had to line up here. You've got Maggie and Paul together, which is rare. You got them together at Mizell, more rare. Together at Mizell at the kennels at the time immediately before the murders, and Alex is there. They're killed by weapons of the household. Within minutes, Alex decides this is a perfect time to go see my mom in Alameda, and he takes off to Alameda. And when he's first asked about where were you at the time of the killings, he clearly says, I had not seen them for 45 minutes or more. I then went to see my mom. I was gone for an hour and a half. Why would you lie about that when you know that's not the case? You had just been there at the kennels. It would have been just as easy to say, I had just been at the kennels with them, and then I left to see my mom, and I don't know what happened. So if you're lying about that, you're lying for a reason, and there can only be one reason. You know what happened at those kennels.
Of course, Alex Murdaugh gave a lot of reasons why he lied at that moment. He talked about distrust of SLED. He talked about drug use. He talked about a lot of other factors. But one of the other really important moments in the trial today was we heard Creighton Waters ask the question, are you a family annihilator? A really, really strong question. It got your attention. And then he took it further by asking singularly, did he lie to his family? Yes, Alex Murdaugh responded. Did you lie to your friends? Did you lie to your associates and clients? He made him answer yes to each of those questions. And then he said, so are you now constructing another lie to this jury?
Yeah, I mean, the pattern is clear. And if you're mining gold and you're hitting gold, keep digging. And that for Creighton Waters was solid gold, right? Not just the depth and breadth of the lies, but the reasons for the lies and the way that he manufactures story after story to perpetuate the lies. So this just looks like his MO. And he even said as much on the stand. After I told the first lie to the police, I just kept lying. He said that quite openly. And so credibility becomes a single issue in the case. Do you believe him? Do you not believe him? But most importantly, on that singular issue, why did he lie to the police about his whereabouts?
Cross-examination or redirect when the defense came back, they also allowed him to admit again that he lied, but to give him a couple of minutes to offer an explanation as to why he lied in those particular cases.
Yeah, his explanations are terrible, right? I mean, when you start with the idea that I lied, but now I'm going to tell you the truth about why I lied, it's a tough sell, right? So when the judge charges the jury at the end of the case, what the judge will say in part is, you are the judges of the credibility of the witnesses. You can accept any or all of their testimony. And so you'll hear from Creighton Waters in the state say, you should accept none of his testimony because you know it to be tainted. If you know some of it to be false testimony, how can you trust any of it? And that's a very compelling argument to make on a close.
Let's also talk about the fact that we've heard from Judge Newman today, the state, the prosecution, Alex Murdaugh. Let's offer them some grades. How do you think Judge Newman did in handling the court today?
Fantastic, fantastic. I was on a talk show with Mark Garagos, who's a national attorney, and he offered the comment in part that if I compared him against judges in other national settings, he's right there at the top, and I agree. He's called a fantastic game. His demeanor on the bench is spot on. He's got great control over the proceedings. His rulings are concise and well articulated. Fantastic.
How did the state do today?
Very good, very good. I think maybe they dwelt a little too long on some of the financial crimes, even for me, although I'm very intimately involved with those crimes. I think the point was made, the guy's a liar. At that point, I think the jury wanted to hear more about the events at the kennel.
But they didn't make the point necessarily to connect him directly to actually killing his wife and son. Do you agree with that?
Well, yes and no. Again, when you think about all the things that had to come together at the same time, and the exclusion of any other viable suspect. Alex is there with them minutes before the murder. It's a family weapon that's used. What are the chances two random strangers came through Mizell at that very moment in time, found family weapons, and killed them moments after Alex walked away? I think it's a compelling circumstantial case, and Alex's lie is front and center in that case.
We're just about out of time, but I want grades also for the defense and Alex Murdaugh.
The defense, very good job. I mean, at least a B plus. Alex, I don't know. That's in the eye of the beholder. If you were buying what he was selling, he was a terrific witness. If you weren't, then he just hung himself.
All right. We appreciate it, Ronnie Richter. Thank you again for your time. We always appreciate your insight.